Well, guys, here I am, and as promised, or maybe threatened is a better word, here's Sit Rep 37. I'll begin with um, the reading of something that I put in this journal that I've been keeping to try to keep up and make sure the doctors know what's going on. And this was an entry that I put in after I came back from my visit to the doctor. Sit Rep number 37, time for an evaluation, physical health status. I had a session with Dr. Chen, my radiation urology specialist today, 17 December at 10:30. The pain was slight, but it started in my abdomen and right side and kidney area, right side. It got increasingly worse as time passed. We had a long discussion and decided that I would have a biopsy done on the area where the pain seems to be based. He's submitting the recommendation today. So that's where we stood. We finished that session. I drove home, and then this is what happened when I got home. It's now 3:39, and the pains in that area have increased to the point, level 4, that I decided to take one of my pills. It'll be interesting to see whether I feel it necessary to take one again later tonight. Well, I'm home. It's early in the morning. I'm getting ready to go to the airport. I haven't been to bed tonight because I knew that if I went to bed, I might not wake up in time to make my flight because I got to be at the airport at 4 a.m. So I've just stayed up through the night, and I'll sleep tomorrow night, whatever. So this is where it goes from there. Well, the day's over, and this is where it stands. First, I'll do the more complete sit rep. As I said a number of times, I'm extremely grateful for the doctors and staff at the VA. Today gave me one more opportunity to experience their special style of administering healthcare. I really appreciate what they do. So after the small talk and jokes and other stuff, we got around to the reason for my being there. And I'll try and streamline everything while still letting you know exactly what's going on. Once again, I'll begin by saying that nothing I say is intended as medical advice. My goal is simply to relay the stages that I've been going through as I deal with cancer. I'm telling you and anyone else about the symptoms and problems that I've had and the various decisions and options that I've chosen for me and the results and consequences that come after those decisions. It's simply my hope that it might be helpful to someone trying to make their way through the trials that they face on a similar journey. That's why it was originally called Raised Buffet. I'm putting my experiences on the table. Others can take from it whatever they find that might be useful. So, that being said, back to my session with the doctor. We talked about the fact that because the pain in the kidney and rib area and abdomen has become more constant and severe, I've graduated to taking 2 of the magic pills daily. The area on the bone has remained a mystery. CT scans and MRIs have failed to conclusively identify the mass. So the only option is a biopsy. If it is then determined that it's a cancer or RCC, then perhaps palliative radiation can be used to reduce the pain it's causing. He then spoke very clearly about a rib biopsy and the fact that it's a solution that does have consequences. We talked a little more and decided to roll the dice. So that's what's next. There are still some blood pressure issues, but that's nothing new. We'll be checking the PSA in late January. By the end of February, we should have a clear path. Or not. Which brings us to a more pleasant part of this particular sit rep. I mentioned that the sudden passing of a player from the league caused me to do a little thinking which in turn resulted in my making a bucket list. And that's weird coming from the guy who said he's not looking for reasons to hang on. So, well, I made that list, and the first thing on the list will begin materializing in a few hours. I'm going to call it full circle. When I was an assistant at Davidson in the early 90s, there was a young man on that team with whom I had a pretty good relationship. That young man is now a successful college coach. Well, his team is ranked nationally, and they're playing in the Jay Billis tournament in Charlotte, North Carolina this weekend. So I'm going up to see him. And thanks to another German family that has been in my corner since the 80s, I'll be able to make that trip. On the trip, I'll also see my college teammate who I was coaching with when I was at Davidson, and some other members of the Davidson staff who were there during that time. But that'll all be documented and filmed when I return. The second item on my bucket list is already a work in progress. I wanted to be a real coach one more time. So there's a new Ultimate Hoops National Tournament that will have its inaugural competition in late February. I hope the biopsy doesn't interfere with that, in Dallas. I've put together a team of coachable players, and by definition, a coachable player is a group of basketball players who are willing to listen to me harp on little things, fundamentals, execution, etc. But some of you guys know about that. We've had a couple practices already, and I'm really having fun. They're learning sting and one pick, just like many of you have done. I look forward to every practice, and I really can't wait for the games. So that's number 2 on the list, and I'll keep you posted as that one goes along. Lastly, there's a trip to Germany, hopefully in the spring, on the list, but that's an unpredictable event. Like I said, after the event that caused me to come up with this bucket list to begin with, it's not an exaggeration to say I'm playing with house money, okay? I've been on hospice for 19 months, so we'll just have to wait and see. And we'll just see what tomorrow brings. So that's it for Sit Rep 37. The next thing you hear from me will be the reports on the visit to North Carolina and how much fun I had with that former player and the coaching staff that I was with when I was at Davidson back then. And we'll just move on from there. Okay? That's it for now.